glad that you found your way back to my channel or found your way to my channel. I like to talk about educational content and literature. And before we get into today's video, I would just like to say that my thoughts and I would like to send good vibes to all of the victims that were a part of the Club Q shooting in Colorado over the weekend. I used to live right across from that club, and a majority of my friends identify with the LGBTQ community, and we just really need to do better. This is not okay. Events like this cannot keep happening. So hug your friends, and yeah, we just have to get better. Yeah. So I've got some hot tea in my Colorado mug, and let's move on with our video. This video is about my top books that I've read so far that have majorly influenced my life or way of thinking or perspective. So the first book that I want to talk about that I did not expect that really I feel like had an impact on my life is a book called Falling Towers. It I believe it's a middle grade book and it's by Jewel Parker Rhodes. I had to read this book my senior year of college, I believe, and it's a historical fiction, I would say, about this reason why I feel like this was so influential or impactful in my life is because I was in first grade when 9/11 happened, and after that I never really heard anything else about it. I never really understood what or why this happened, and I found out in my literature class when we started studying this book that a lot of people that were kind of around my same age, they kind of didn't really know either, and we never really talked about it ever again until my senior year of college. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. If you are up for it and you are mentally in a good space to read that book, I would highly recommend Falling Towers by Jewel Parker Rhodes. Okay, so the next book that I'm thinking of on my list is called American Dirt, and I think there's a lot of controversy with this book because some folks think or question, is this really historically accurate? Is it portrayed correctly? Because they don't know, like they don't believe that the author really lived these experiences. While I believe all of those are valid questions, I think the overall theme and point that the author is trying to get across is very important. American Dirt is by Jeanine Cummings, by the way, and it is about this mother and son who are trying to make it to the United States because her and her son are being followed by the cartels in Mexico. And I think part of the controversy in this particular book is that the mother has a lot of money, and so she's able to like pay for food and a coyote to get them across the border, and pay for a lot of things because she has all this money, and she was able to go to an ATM where that I think people are thinking that's not really a realistic thing that happens when people are actually in this situation. So why is this book on my list? Because I think this is something, well, I don't think, I know this is something that happens to real people, and it's important to understand that you don't know everybody's whole life story, and people are in different places all over the world because of different reasons. It's not always to make someone else's life miserable, if that if you get what I'm getting at. People, you know, they could be in this particular situation. This family was running from danger and they had to get somewhere safe. So it's important to have empathy and compassion and really understand that not everybody has the same life story as you do. Okay, the next book I would say is one of my favorites. It is Educated by Tara Westover. And if you have not read Educated, a memoir, you are missing out. This book is a memoir, and it's about Tara's life. Her father is this man who believes that there's going to be this doomsday apocalypse, so they live this very non-traditional life, I would say, out kind of, from my understanding, in the middle of nowhere, and they don't really go to school. They just kind of do chores like around their land and property and on the farm, and eventually Tara goes to BYU and graduates from there, and then eventually goes on to get her doctorate degree in, I think, history. So yeah, she gets her Bachelor's of Arts from BYU, and then goes to Cambridge, and then she gets a PhD from Cambridge. So it's just really interesting how her whole life was just one thing, and then she gets out into the quote real world, and she's able to see this whole perspective where there's medicine for illness, and just like things like that that you don't even think of, and then like her just whole perspective is changed. So it's just really interesting about the importance of education, having an open mind, and yeah, mostly I feel like the biggest thing is having an open mind. And yeah, just every time I picked up this book and continued reading it, I was like, I can't believe this is a real story and this is somebody's actual life and not just something that someone made up for like a sci-fi show. So I would 10 out of 10 recommend this book. So my number one book right now that has influenced my life is Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker. And I listened to it on Audible, and I also had a physical copy of the book that I read along to. and there's like charts and stuff, and it's a very informational, like, nonfiction. It is seriously so interesting. I've cited it in a few of my papers for school, and I feel like I've practiced a lot of his advice in my real life. He talks about how melatonin is, like, we as humans can become addicted to it even though it's natural, and I think we all know how caffeine can affect us. And then another thing that I found really interesting was how if you have like a drink, alcoholic beverage before bed or near like when you're going to go to sleep, your brain never actually, I don't know if this is exactly how he worded it, but this is how I interpreted it. How if you have an alcoholic beverage near like so many hours when you're gonna go to sleep, your brain never actually shuts down and goes to sleep. So I just, like, it's so interesting why we need sleep and the effects that it has on your brain and what lack of sleep has on your brain. So I would really recommend reading it, or reading at least a few chapters of it. If you just like buy the book and then like have it sitting next to your bed, if you need to fall asleep, just read a chapter of it and you'll get some really good information out of it. So thank you so much for sitting with me through this video. I hope I've got a cold. I hope you've got some good book recommendations from this video, and if you did, let me know. And I would also love to hear what your top books that influenced your life are. Let me know. I'd love to hear them.